the richest man in Rome. Marcus Licinius Crassus was one of the richest and most powerful men in Rome. However, his quest for military prestige brought him his downfall. When he died in 53 BC, Marcus Licinius Crassus was one of the most important men of the Roman Republic. Through his military exploits, shrewd and often morally dubious entrepreneurship, and a vast network of patronage, Crassus managed to climb to the top of the Roman political hierarchy. His wealth and influence made Crassus one of the three men of the first triumvirate, along with Caesar and Pompey. His quest for prestige in the East not only resulted in his death, but also undermined the foundation of the Republic, setting off a chain of events that would eventually lead to its downfall. Marcus Licinius Crassus was born in the Roman province of Iberia in 115 BC. According to the first-century historian Plutarch, the Crassus family was not extremely wealthy, and the young boy grew up in relatively modest surroundings. Crassus's father, Publius Licinius Crassus, came from a modest plebeian background, but it would be wrong to think of the future triumvir as a simple man with no connections. Crassus was a senior consul in 97 BC and a military commander in 93 BC. This sequence of events created the perfect environment for the breeding of an ambitious Roman aristocrat. Unfortunately, the senior Crassus died in 83 BC during the political struggle that would determine the future of the Roman Republic. Publius supported Lucius Cornelius Sulla in his struggle against Gaius Marius. Crassus, the father whose political patron was defeated, was consigned to history. He was either killed in the purges or committed suicide. The fate of the young Crassus would have been equally terrible had he not fled to Spain. The relative safety of Spain, separated by the sea from the battlefields of Italy, not only allowed Crassus to survive, but also to flourish. In Spain, Marcus Licinius. Crassus would begin his rise to power. Using the wealth of his inheritance and family ties, he began to build an army for Sulla. It was this army that would play a crucial role in ending the civil war between Marius and Sulla. With Sulla victorious, Crassus could finally share in the glory of his patron. More importantly, Crassus had the opportunity to greatly increase his personal fortune by becoming the recipient of assets taken from his victims thanks to Sulla's prohibitions. These confiscated assets became the core of the real estate empire built in the years following the war. The high-value properties acquired after the war were sold at a bargain price to Crassus's allies, cementing his political ties with the richest men in the Republic. It also provided him with capital that he invested in one of the most morally dubious ventures in Rome, real estate management. With the rise of Crassus, Rome had become the most important city in the Mediterranean. The growth of the capital of the Republic was accompanied by an ever-increasing number of new settlers who came in search of jobs and a better life. To accommodate all the new arrivals, cheap but high-rise residential buildings were built. As with anything built en masse, this housing was of poor quality and prone to collapse and, more importantly, a fire hazard. According to Plutarch, Crassus paid special attention to fire-damaged buildings, which he would buy at a bargain from owners who feared collapses. Once he owned the property, he would rebuild it using slave labor and then rent it out and sell it for further profit. Thus, Marcus Licinius Crassus soon bought up a large part of Rome. In addition to real estate, Crassus took advantage of another valuable commodity of the time: slaves. Considered more valuable than minerals or agricultural land, slaves were the lifeblood of the Republic. Slaves performed a variety of tasks. They worked as hard laborers and were also used as teachers, doctors, deputies, or architects. Although some high-profile individuals were treated quite well, life for most of the workforce was brutal and difficult. This social injustice led to several slave revolts. But no revolt was as serious and dangerous as that of Spartacus in 73 BC. Spartacus, a former gladiator, was able to take advantage of the absence of Roman legions that were organizing invasion campaigns elsewhere. I have prepared a documentary content for you about Marcus Licinius Crassus, the richest man in Rome. I ask you to subscribe and like the video for my efforts. Do not forget to turn on all notifications after subscribing to be informed about new videos. I wish you a good watch.